Hello, folks. It is the night after Money in the Bank. It is the 20th, and, am I shocked that that big, bloated, muscly man known as Brock Lesnar came back last night? Well, we all shouldn't be shocked. But you know how crazy it is that Lesnar was thinking of going back to the UFC? Well, and I looked this up very closely with Pro Wrestling Insider. This has been rumored now for the past week or two, that Lesnar was going to come back full-time to WWE. And in fact, he did. He did. He comes out of nowhere. Again, this was written in the storyline. And the writers probably were like, you know what? Let's put it in the booking, and let's have Lesnar be that fourth guy from Raw that was missing because Braun Strowman decided to injure Sami Zayn. Oh, and by the way, sorry to spoil Money in the Bank for you all, but actually put Sami Zayn upside down, and Triple H trying to put his hand in the camera like this, just to, that's not the point. The point is, Brock won Money in the Bank, alright? He did. Brock won Money in the Bank. And should I be shocked about this? No, I shouldn't be. Shouldn't be shocked that a man who gets preferential treatment by Vince McMahon, I'm calling Vince McMahon out. I'm really calling Vince McMahon out, because Vince McMahon, all he cares about is money. All he cares about. Vince McMahon only cares about his interest, his storyline. Oh, the WWE Universe doesn't want Brock to be the Money in the Bank holder, but yet I want it to happen because I'm Vince McMahon. Bleep you. That's why. It's that meme that was in the... Oh, I'm sorry to call out this wrestling page, but I will. One wrestling news page. I agree with what the administrator had on their thing. I agreed with him. That's what Vince wants. That's what Vince wants. And everybody is shocked. Loogie is shocked. Grim is shocked. I'm honestly not the one that should be shocked, alright? I'm sorry to call out everybody in the wrestling community, but, it's about what Vince wants at the end of the day. And if Vince is going to tell us that, oh, we're going to be forced to watch Brock, then, so be it. At least, again, SmackDown will still be the A show, because at least you'll have a champion on TV every week. But then they keep saying, oh, now that SmackDown's moving to Fox in the fall, they're going to be like, oh, well, let's have Brock go to SmackDown. Well, I'm sorry to say this. It's probably going to happen. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe Raw could be the A show again, because they're probably going to say, you know what, we'll have a weekly champion there, but on Fox we just won't have a weekly champion because we're so desperate for a draw that, well, Brock's the only draw. And it's going to be crazy is that Saturday we have All Elite Wrestling making their debut on pay-per-view. All Elite Wrestling's coming. It's coming. It's here. We have Kenny Omega taking on Chris Jericho from New Japan. It's the New Japan Wrestling rematch. We have Dustin Rhodes taking on his brother Cody. Cody's pretty much the main honcho with All Elite Wrestling. Not to mention All Elite Wrestling now has their TV deal. So, I think maybe the other reason Vince probably did this was for a ratings war. If it wasn't for a ratings war, then, what else could it be? Could it possibly be that Vince is teasing us that maybe WWE might go back to a TV 14 rating? Now that Brock's back? We don't know. I would love for a TV 14 rating. Go back to the old school wrestling. Go back to the Attitude Era for all we know. But my point is, again, I am so sick and tired of every fan who was shocked that Brock Lesnar came back. I'm not the one shocked. Do apologize, folks. Somebody got into my shop. But what I was just going to say is, I'm educated. Alright? I knew Lesnar was coming back last night. I knew, reading Pro Wrestling Insider for the past 2 weeks, reading into WrestleMania, writing into Wrestling News Hub, it was all rumored. It was all rumored that Brock was going to come back. And again, we're all going to have to deal with Brock Lesnar. And who knows? Maybe Brock cashes in tonight on Raw. Maybe Brock cashes in at the pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia in a couple weeks. Maybe they're saving Brock to cash in later on this summer. We don't know. We don't know when Brock's going to cash in. They're probably going to have to come up with a good storyline for Brock to cash in the briefcase, so that way you're like, oh, well, Brock's going to finally be champion again. It's really aggravating to wonder You know, will he come back? Won't he come back? And the upsetting thing is for I'm also an MMA fan. The sport's dying down. I was hoping that Brock would come back to UFC and finally get that dream match against Daniel Cormier. Now that match is not even going to happen. Because Brock said to Dana White, screw you, Vince is giving me more money, I'm going to go back to WWE, and by the way, I'll have my Walrus associate Paul Heyman, I'm calling him a Walrus because that's what he is, Paul Heyman, come back with that stupid, annoying, loud voice from the Hudson Valley! This is my epic rant, you know, I'm upset at the fans again who just are in shock. Oh, Lesnar came back. Again, I'm not shocked. And neither anybody else should be shocked. Right? This is the new reality. It's been like this for years because all Vince cares about is his own interest, and that is forcing Brock Lesnar onto us. That's what it's become. And you know what? It may even be a point where Roman Reigns gets shoved in our faces again because they're probably going to say, you know what? Put Brock on SmackDown so we can finally have another boring Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match. No one wants that again. So WWE is heading in a very bad shape right now, folks, and the ratings war is coming. Once All Elite Wrestling, I do apologize, I don't know what happened with my lighting. I'm going to quickly make a point while I'm walking in. My point is, I'm trying to get some better lighting. My God, this lighting is terrible. Look, my point is, the ratings war is back, alright? It's back. And until Vince gets his act together, he has to once again compete with another brand. He had to do this once with WCW, and now he's going to have to compete with All Elite Wrestling now. He's going to have to figure out how to keep up with the times, because Vince is still in a time warp. He still believes that this is the Ruthless Aggression era. Vince, this is not the Ruthless Aggression era. There are good wrestlers coming up. You are wasting good talent from NXT, and I'm sorry to say this, but again, you're going to lose fans if you keep forcing Brock Lesnar upon us. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. And again, stay educated about wrestling because I am, everybody else should be.